Good. All right, so I'm going to call this regular meeting of the Public Site and Building Commission to order at 7 o'clock. Everybody's that we're expecting is here, I think. And so if you'll join me with the pledge, which I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United States of America,
to the republic
which stands one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone.
How are you?
Okay, so public input. I don't see anybody from the public, so won't have any of that. No one likes us yet. Correspondence, you didn't get anything last minute that anybody gave you, or, yeah, we're good with that. So approval of meeting minutes. I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of May 24th, 2023.
Second.
Seconds all around here. John Menti seconds. Do you want me to say people's names so you know who?
I think I'm
You're good, okay, ask if you.
Okay, yes.
Anybody have any updates or anything that needs to get changed? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Does anybody have to abstain? John? Well, no, not
No,
you, because
just
that was,
Bob Jeremiah.
yeah, because that, not last, this is not from, because we didn't have a meeting 2 weeks ago. We didn't have quorum, so we just all went home. Or went out, I don't know, whatever they did. But yes, that's May 24th. So you said Bob Germanero's the only one, and he's not here, so. All right, so we voted yes. One thing that before we jump into our old business, I think I sent it out, board and commission chairs received a memo from the first selectman with some additional information and clarification on whenever we have a executive session. And it basically is making sure that when any board or commission goes into executive session, whether people on Zoom or people in person have to leave. And so on Zoom, you put the people in a waiting room or something like that, right? But then you have to let them know when the executive session is done and let them come back. So if there were some people here and we were going to go into executive session, we would have to, oh, thank you. I've been so efficient. We would have to tell the people who we didn't invite into executive session, go sit down the hall, go sit downstairs. But then we would have to make sure they know to come back in. Same thing on Zoom. You let the people in the waiting room know that they can come back in. If they choose not to, that's up to them. But they're just trying to, I don't know if something came up, but they're just trying to make sure that everyone knows that once executive session, especially if you make a decision after executive session, you gotta let them know that they can come back in. Okay, that's that. And hopefully we don't have lots of executive sessions. We don't have to deal with it. On to our old business, municipal center renovation. So we got our CO yesterday. Mark Schweitzer can give us a little update on that.
Yeah, the Chris from the building department issued it, clean bill, and it went to BMP, and they forwarded it on to us. So it is no punch list, so we're good to go on that. And I've just been, as I was on the road from 2:30, so I was just catching up on the email string when I sat down for the meeting, about the lead test. So
Yeah.
that
So-
will be,
Yeah, so I'll be here tomorrow. I'll talk with whoever I can talk with and find out. It's actually stipulated, and so what happened was Health Department asked Rachel Park and Rec Director, if the lead dust wipe test was done, like after all the work was done. And I said, no, why? It's actually in the letter that was sent by the Health Department to BMP before work started. Because we gave them all with the building permit, we gave them all the testing that had been done and all the reports and what had needed to be remediated, et cetera. And health department issued a like 2-page thing saying you need to do this, 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 this. The last thing is that Park and Rec is supposed to do the lead. I don't know why Park and Rec, but there's no lead anywhere left. It's all gone. It wasn't sanded. It's just gone. So.
Was the lead detected before? the
Yes.
project?
Yeah, it was part of the, it was on the baseboard paint.
Okay,
And there was also lead in the paint on the metal stairs that were removed. They were all blocked in.
Yeah.
And then they were removed. And they didn't have to be, you didn't have to like scrape the paint down or anything. They just had to
Correct.
pull it out and then they had to be disposed of appropriately. Not in a big like abatement way. It was more like throw them in with the steel stuff, which is what all it was required. They did a whole, when we had hygienists do all that testing several years ago, and they came up with, like, there's asbestos in the mastic on the second floor. We didn't touch the second floor. And there wasn't anything else except for the lead in the paint on that baseboard that was like along the one wall. Took it out, gone. But then we thought about the stairs. So then they had to bring somebody else to do more testing in and found that there was lead in the paint on the stairs. That just got disposed of. The whole place has been cleaned and then painted and then cleaned and cleaned and cleaned.
you wouldn't find
I
lead
know,
there.
but it's on the, BMP sent a letter to the health department saying they did all the work. It's kind of a, well, this is the letter from the health department, Laura, to J Metcalf at BMP. But then, which I didn't have time to send out because it just all came in this afternoon, like Mark was saying, he was catching up on it. And, but BMP did send a letter to the health department saying, you know, we did everything we were supposed to do, because it doesn't say that BMP has to do the dust wipe. So I'll figure that out. I'll talk about, I think we just have hygienics come in and do it, if health department's okay with that. If health department wants a separate company to come in because hygienics did the first, we'll do that too.
I would use hygienics, they're very reasonable.
They are very reasonable and they've done a lot of
Compared to
work for the
everybody
town,
else.
so.
They
So,
were,
go ahead.
they were also present when they were removing the steel, so they should have a field report or some sort of paper trail saying that they were on site when the stringer was removed
Yeah, yeah.
and disposed of legally.
Yeah, well, and but at one point when I was looking at the lobby area, walking around looking at it with Rachel actually last year and Kathy, just making sure that, you know, once they got started, they put up all the protection, et cetera. Laura from the health department came through and said, well, we should do lead dust wipes before, during, after, because of the kids that meet in the gym down the hall. And I said, this is going to be contained. Nobody's going to be walking through here until we're done. And so then she agreed that that didn't really have to happen. So it would have been overkill.
I would just get a hold of hygienics and have the.
And if they have
contracted
something,
people.
you know, Mark, we can work on that. Maybe get a hold of Jim.
Yep.
Find out, do they have a report that says something that we can give to them and then we're done, or do we got to drag them back out here yet? Okay, well, good. So I sent around a little budget report that I put together, which I also don't have to put up on that. I sent it to you guys. But we're at about 410,000 to date. So we got about 70 left, and that actually I included the retainage in the 70 that's left. Retainage that's due to BMP, which we'll probably get an invoice for or an application for payment for soon. And then, yeah, there it is. Thank you, Mark. And then some more from Colliers, and so that will get turned back into the ARPA funds, and the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance will have to figure out what is next with that. Maybe they can give us some go start on the locker rooms. And then we have our 2 invoices. So anything else? Mark, do you have anything else with updates?
No, I do not.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark?
Hmm?
Okay, so let's do invoices. We've got a Collier's invoice and we have the BMP application for payment, which I've had for a while. We were supposed to do it last meeting, but we couldn't. So, does anybody need to see it up on the screen? I will make a motion then that we approve BMP construction application for payment number 4, dated June 7, 2023, in the amount of $19,465.48.
Second.
Don Menti seconds. Anybody have any, so this shows then that there's a retainage of $8,282.05. Generally with a Gordian type thing, the IZQ and the state contract, there isn't a retainage, but Marty wanted one, so we got a percentage, and that's what this
So
retainage is.
this is really the final payment.
No, there is a retainage.
Right, okay.
This is not the final payment. The 19,000 that we're approving tonight, still, there's a contract balance to finish, which is the retainage, $8,205. So tonight, we're approving $19,465.84. John seconded it. Oh, there it is. But that's without signatures. I have the signature one, but the amount is there. So any other questions on this, or?
Was there some concerns on touch-up conduits and electrical boxes?
They took
Yeah,
care
that
of
was
that.
all, I looked at it, it's all painted.
They did it all?
Yeah.
They
Oh, good,
hooked and
okay.
fixed the long screw that was coming out.
Yeah.
It looks much, much better.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep, they took care of all that. Yeah, good point. So I think I don't think there hasn't been anything that's been brought to my attention from Park and Rec. They've used the place, I mean, everybody's in and out of there all the time, but on weekends, when they've had events out on the front lawn, they've used it, used the bathrooms, it's great. There's the bathrooms, you don't have to open up the rest of the building. So it's working really well. So let's vote on this, unless anybody has anything else. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. And then we have the Collier's invoice. I make a motion that we approve Collier's invoice number 0000853094 for services rendered through the month of May in the amount of $967.20.
Second.
Second from, who's that, Dave Olson? Any questions on this? All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Great. So, done with that. And any other questions or anything anybody has? Mark, you have anything?
Nope, I'll reach out to Jim tomorrow and give him the heads up that if the lead swipe can't be taken care of administratively, we'll need to get him out there for the swipe test, and if he has any paperwork, that will satisfy it.
Yeah, for the health department. Yeah, and I'll check in with them too to make sure it's okay with that we use Hygienics, because the email that I got, I don't think you were on it, from Rachel, said to use a different company and had language that was needed for them to write something. So I'll find out what that is and let you know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something that they have to have filed somewhere to keep forever and ever for the town. Yeah.
She said use a different.
Part of,
No, she didn't say, she recommended to Rachel a company. Didn't say don't use Hygienics. She just said, here's a company you can
Yeah.
use.
because I know the state on the law, the company that does the testing can't do the abatement.
Right, but this isn't,
So, but
Yes.
they did initial, they
Yes.
didn't do the abatement, so they
Right.
can do the post
yeah,
test.
yeah.
There's no reason why we
I
can't
don't,
use it.
she didn't say don't use Hygienics. It was basically, here's a company. So, no, I think we stick with that, but I just want to check.
Thank you. As Jim lives, he's right over the Bethel line.
yeah, he's in Newtown.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna check just to make sure that they don't want something specific from someone, because they might. All right, well, thanks, Mark. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
All right, next is our school project. So Rockwell and Johnson School, I haven't heard anything, I assume I would, from Dr. Carver on Office of School Construction. They're still waiting, the whole paperwork thing should have triggered the audit, but they haven't heard from them. They're gonna come and audit all your stuff now. So that's where we are with that. However, work on the level spreader and everything else going south of there, or it's not really south, but downhill from there, has started. And you can give them you want me to?
No, it's fine. Yeah, so I was out on site with SLR and Sunburst on Friday and observing everything and seeing all the clearing and the silt fencing, expecting storms for the weekend. So SLR was there to help strategize how to mitigate potential erosion. While we were there, Pete Scala from Sunburst told us that Cortec or
That's the-
Core and Main,
Yeah, yep.
the distributor of the pipe, had confirmed the day before that the pipe was set for delivery on Monday the 26th. Monday the 26th came. He got a phone call from Core and Main telling him that the manufacturer, Contec, reached out and said, "We have not manufactured this pipe yet," on the day that it was supposed to be delivered.
Yeah.
So we looked at different options, and there's still nothing that we could do that could beat the timeline that Contec was now proposing, because we could get the pipe, but we couldn't get the fittings. So we looked at different options, and the Contec saying that they could provide the pipe by July 5th was still the fastest that we're going to be able to get. Based on their history, we'll see what happens when July 5th comes. But that's where we stand right now. Nancy was out on site yesterday. She was able to observe the effectiveness of the erosion control measures that have been put
Yeah.
there. And it seems like we're holding up.
Everything's ready. I mean, they're ready to go in there and put the pipe in. And the only people that were there yesterday were the fence guys. They were moving the fence. They had set the new posts. The gate is still there. They moved the other over, took some of the fencing down and moved the posts. And then they were leaving as I was coming back out. And the big concrete manhole-y things are there. They've been delivered. Like Evan said, that it had rained earlier, and there was some water coming out of the flared end spreader down the level spreader, which is still there. A little coming out the end, but still a lot coming out that one big gap in like 2-3 curbs down. I took some photos, but I'm not ready to put them up there. And that was where it was mostly coming out, but it wasn't really washing it all out, which was great. They have hay bales all staggered all the way down and lines of them and big silt fencing everywhere. And it's being very effective. Now we're gonna get rain for the next week and a half, on and off. So hopefully, they're saying the delivery is going to be July 5th. We'll see. Because the big thing I remember, because Evan brought this up when we were talking earlier, was that Sunburst had to give the distributor a deposit so that they could then give it to the manufacturer. To manufacture, I didn't realize I thought they were just buying it, that it was like sitting in a yard somewhere.
Right.
And
Apparently it's in the Northeast, pipe is completely bought out because of infrastructure projects that we have from the Build Back Better program and all the government money that we've been allocated.
so, the deposit went, we did the deposit as soon as we got that thing signed. Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah,
Sunburst
we have a
did.
letter from Core and Main stating that the deposit was received and the order was placed in early May. I
Yeah.
forget the date exactly, but it was early May.
And they said, no problem, we're gonna get it to you, et cetera, and then nothing. So, right now, Sunburst doesn't even have equipment there. They probably took it all out and went to another job, understandably, because why leave equipment there? But it's really literally ready to go. And as soon as they get the delivery, they'll all, thing that is an issue, but not an issue, because I sent an email out this morning to Dr. Carver and Rachel and Bob Germanero and anybody else, included Evan, and summer school is happening at Berry School, so school's not an issue, but Park and Rec camp, there were a bunch of kids on the playground when I was there yesterday, and camp had started Monday. I didn't realize camp was starting Monday. Sunburst was gonna be done by then, now they're not. So Rachel has said that, you know, what, these are the drop-off times, these are the pickup times, we're thinking that we'll go, rather than go up that road, but it has the gate that was open, and then we had to start closing it over by the playground. They'll come in the far side, because that's the way the fencing guys went out, and that seems, you know, we're thinking that'll be the best thing, and they'll just have to do it, like if they're gonna get a delivery, do it at 7 o'clock in the morning before kids are dropped off, or do it late in the day before, after the kids are picked up, so we're just gonna have to keep on about that. And then the other thing that I missed it. Apparently, whoever hikes on that trail, even, they have a whole bunch of orange fencing and signs saying trail closed, and then they have the trail rerouted, and there's a space where you can come through. And somebody goes out there every day and goes hiking, I guess, and pulls up the silt fencing and cuts down the orange fencing. Then Pete has to go back and put it back up. It was there, so it must happen in the afternoon or evening, because it was there when everything was fine when I was there yesterday.
So we're gonna put the school district trail
Trail
camp.
cams, yeah, we're gonna do
put two
trail cams,
down
anybody
there.
that's watching.
I stopped there yesterday about 4 o'clock,
Yeah,
and the silt fencing was still up, and so was the orange fence at 4 o'clock.
did you walk down?
All the way down.
Yeah,
If you
okay,
see any footprints about that deep into the mud,
okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah, because they have, so the gate that we often would walk in around the side where you go to the back of the playground where the swings, that old swings are, that gate, that's got orange fencing and a big plywood trail closed sign. And then down at the bottom, they have a trail closed sign, but the higher trail, they actually have kind of a pass-through for it, which they're gonna have to temporarily close when they dig the holes, but I think they'll be fine. Anybody have any other questions or anything else we need to know about?
None on that one, I
I
don't know.
don't think I have anything either, except an invoice.
Yes, we have an invoice from Perkins Eastman.
Yes. So if there's no more questions, we'll do this invoice. So the invoice from Perkins Eastman is for the month of May, and it's basically for SLR, whatever they had. So this is probably SLR from April, because once SLR bills Perkins Eastman, it's kind of a little behind. So I will make a motion that we approve in Perkins Eastman invoice number 068962.09.0-5 for Johnson School Extended for the month of May 2023 in the amount of $1,038.30.
Second.
Dave Olson seconds. Any questions on this?
so what exactly are they still doing?
So so if you go to the page he has, this is April, where they were still tying up some plans, and like Perkins Eastman didn't really have much to do, it was just SLR making sure that all the plans and documents were set to go
Set to go
for the construction. This is SLR for,
the level spread.
yes, yeah. And
So when you said Johnson Rock, I thought you was still the
No.
actual.
no, not this,
Oh,
this
okay.
is all the level spreader, yeah.
Okay,
So it's design and engineering that they had to complete.
now I understand.
Right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. So hopefully by the next meeting, they will be completely finished. Is our next, so if they're gonna get that delivery on the 5th, which is next
Tuesday.
Wednesday, the 5th, the 4th is, that will be great, and then our next meeting would be the 12th. So we'll see where we are with
Yeah,
that.
I mean, chances are that Sunburst will probably start work on the delivers on the 5th.
Really?
Because they're,
They
like we said, they pulled machines off and they
Right.
have to be able to bring them back, and they're not gonna bring them back early with the record
right,
of deliveries right now.
right, so that would be just that Monday, so instead of that Wednesday the 5th, it would be the Monday.
It'll probably be a full week if everything goes well.
Yeah.
That's what we had planned. We had a week of clearing everything out and then a week of the construction and fill everything back in.
Yeah.
So that's what we have left is that second week.
Yeah,
And then they're also doing plantings too.
Right.
so there, like I said, the deliveries will be the pipe, probably some fill or whatever, and plantings. I don't think there'd be much more larger than that, so, and machinery, so, which is what I told both Rachel and she said they could keep them, kind of push them that way with the playground. I was like, just, they could be on the playground and we'll come
Yeah,
around.
we're inside the fence.
Yep.
We've put another fence between the building and the playground and the exterior fence as well.
Yeah,
There'll be plenty of protections for
Yeah.
it.
if Sunburst feels kind of safer, so to speak, of, especially when the kids are out in the playground running around, having, they could just put it up for the day and then take down, it's flexible fencing. Because that was a question that was, I think Rachel might have asked, if machinery needs to be in the way, we'll make, and I was like, no, it doesn't, it'll be inside the fence, because that's safer for the machinery and for the kids. Because you don't want to leave your machinery just laying around outside the fence, even though the fence isn't locked, they could lock it if they wanted to. But keeping it inside, I think would be best. All right, well, so thanks for the update on when they actually start. I think that's it for that part, right?
Yep.
Okay. On to the training range. We had some fun with that last
Yeah.
week. You can tell them all. I
Sure.
was like on vacation. I'm always on vacation because I'm retired.
I apologize for the
I was
drama.
I was up at my other house, but that's, I started getting these emails and I was like,
Yeah, so it was Wednesday evening of last week, got a call from Action Target saying that the curb for the NAU is going to be delivered tomorrow.
giant.
Yeah, this is a 600-pound, piece of metal
Yeah,
that's on a 4x8 pallet. And they said it's not a problem. AMA is going to deliver it. They'll land it wherever you need it. We just need to coordinate with the police department to make sure that we have a place to put it. And then, manufacturer recommends covering it with the tarp or whatever, protect from elements. It's gonna be outside all the time anyway. So, Nancy helps me get in contact with Lieutenant over the police department and talk on Thursday morning. We're ready, just trying to communicate with AMA, the transport company, saying, do not approach the police department until you've spoken to me, because that's just a bad look.
Especially if they were coming like common carrier on a semi. How
Right.
are they gonna get that? Yeah.
So finally get in contact with somebody at AMA directly, giving up going through ATI. And AMA alleviates my concern somewhat in saying that, oh, this is a scheduled delivery service. We're not approaching anything until you've given us a window when we can arrive. However, we do not offer unloading services.
And they didn't have a lift gate on it either.
And it's too big for a lift gate. So you can't have a lift gate.
Or email me back and forth, back and forth.
So again, Nancy steps in and helps me contact different departments of the town. Nobody has a lift, nobody has a forklift. So finally get back on the phone with Action Target, AMA, and the distributor. This took a little arm twisting of ATI to get them on the phone with us. And the distributor said, oh no, you're absolutely right. This should not have gone out without prior approval. We'll take it back.
Yay. Well, and again, I got to say Kathy saved the day, because she was like, we shouldn't be unloading that thing, what if we break it? So we have to thank her for that, because she knows these things. But yeah, don't be sending us stuff, there's no active construction
Right, we
site.
don't have,
Who's,
there's no one in the site.
yeah. And everybody was being really helpful, but
No one,
but luckily they're taking it back and they will send, and this is not like the rooftop unit curb, it's the big,
Yeah.
huge, sitting on the concrete pad thing.
Typically, they never go to the job site.
Huh?
Typically, they don't, curbs don't go to the job site. The curbs go to the rigger who is receiving the unit. So Action Target should have it organized,
Yes.
the curb and the
Yes.
unit
Yes,
goes
to
to the
come.
rigger's yard, they accept it, and then it sits at the rigger's yard
Yeah.
until Action Target's ready
Yep.
to the whole issue.
for the rigger to come and set the unit,
Yes,
put the curb down.
yes.
Never goes to the job site.
Yeah, and it was really difficult with Action Target because, you know, they gave us this notice on Wednesday evening. When I finally got the paperwork from them with the shipping label, it said it was sent to them on June 13th. So they had it for a considerable amount of time before they notified us saying that,
Oh, you can have it now.
yeah, you need to be
Yeah.
ready in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And not even having their story straight about
Right,
that.
Right,
I would suggest that somebody call Action Target. Because when the unit comes, make sure it's getting shipped to some rigger they selected.
Yeah.
Because we don't want it on our property.
no, until they bring, until their people are here bringing everything else.
Set it in place to get hooked up.
Yep, and that was the conversation that we had, before and after the group conference call, was, I aligned with David, how this process should actually occur, and that he needs to, you know, we have a construction schedule, we've shared the construction schedule with them, and he needs to be aware of that and tracking his vendors, his components.
Now, the makeup here was a 50. So they can't get around the back of the building, though. They're gonna have to lift that over
I believe so,
the
yeah.
crane.
And they're gonna have to make arrangements.
They
to
So
bring-
whoever
like a
crane company
Mariano's or something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a big
they'll-
crane.
They'll have to bring, and they'll have to do it, because if it's a really big one, they gotta move it at 2 o'clock in the morning to get it over there and do it, and make sure that they gotta have lots of lead time to get all those cars out of there and everything else. Because we've walked around the back, you can't fit anything there except for a small truck
Mhm.
and a lawnmower. Yeah, but that's right, you're right, Jen. Gotta make sure, we're gonna have
It
to
goes
keep
to
on
the
top of them.
river, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep on top of them to make sure they just don't try to ship it someday and.
Right.
Yeah.
So that will now come back on October 6th, which they're still maintaining is the delivery date
Of the MAU, okay. Now are they saying anything about bringing, any of the equipment before that, like in September?
So
And
that, so
installing it?
yes,
Okay.
we, and that's something that we need to coordinate with Downs.
Okay.
And that's why my construction schedule had Downs starting in, right after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And Downs is saying, oh, well, we're not getting the unit till October 6th, we can start later. But, well, we're pushing back and forth. They finally assigned a project manager
Okay,
today.
okay,
I have not been able to contact them yet,
okay,
but yeah, this is when we'll start. So, nail that down
okay,
and hopefully get demo crews out there and be able to get the Action Target equipment in there.
right. So Downs is working on, putting together a GMP too. So, because I got some info through Marty and I talked to Jeff Anderson at Downs, he had some suggestions on. We might have talked about this last time a little bit, where, you know, they need to put a GMP together, but do they need to spend this long extended period of time bidding it? No, they know certain, they want to have certain people who already worked on the building there doing that work, masons, painters, et cetera. So they'll get some proposals, and they're working on doing that now. So maybe by the next meeting, we might have some info.
Oh, I hope so, yeah. I mean, if not, they're dropping the ball.
Right,
I'll say that right now.
we're gonna need to review the GMP and accept it, and then it's gonna have to get signed by Dan, so. So they're working on that now. Yeah. Anything else that you've got for us on?
As far as updates, no, but we obviously have the invoices and, and my STVs
Yes.
at service requests as well.
Right, so first what we'll look at is, and we sent this out ahead of time, and then, for the last meeting, and then sent it out again. And we talked about this, that we have a proposal from STV for their services to continue through the remainder of the project. Originally, the proposal that was put together by STV included well, I would say a shorter time frame, but we were kind of supposed to be done by now. Because we had a couple of things, including thinking that we were gonna get a bid waiver from the Board of Selectmen so that we could move things along more quickly. We had Action Target waiting for an approval. That's when the price, because we didn't get that right away, we went up, and then we had to do a referendum, et cetera, et cetera. So it's extended the period of time being covered by STV as our owner's rep. So, like I said, I sent this out ahead of time, and I will make a motion we can discuss. I gotta find that. So, I will make a motion that we accept the STV proposal for their extended services for the training range, which is an increase of $28,504. Just right. Then all the other pages are just the blah, blah, blah stuff. So I'm making that motion that we approve this new proposal dated June 14th, but we'll put the appropriate date in.
I'll second it for discussion.
John Menti seconds it. And
So where is this additional money gonna put us with overall monies on the project?
so you have that budget that you put together for the last meeting, and it included this in it.
Yes.
So what schools? Not that one.
Yeah, here we go,
There it
yes. So I did preemptively add the owner's project manager, CO #1 into this. And that puts us at a total project cost of 1.38 with remaining $18,000. And also remembering that there's a,
65,000 contingency.
right,
Which is down near the bottom, and then that's the only contingency there, right? No,
no, because
because there's a construction contingency, which would
and then
be
we
part
also
of the.
included a 20% escalation
Yes,
from May to
Yeah.
this bit to now. So then we had a 5% estimating contingency as well.
Yeah.
So there is, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hopefully Downs will get some competitive pricing.
Mhm.
And we will stick closer to this 182. And some of this, construction contingency and the escalation won't be utilized
Mhm.
in our final GM.
so that 18,000 could be higher. And we shouldn't run into any bigger problems.
Because we really gotta keep this
yes.
tight.
Yeah,
Very,
definitely.
very
I
tight,
agree.
because we
I
cannot
agree.
have what happened last time.
Yeah.
No.
Well, last time was different, so, yeah, Evan's been.
But people
keeping
don't
on
look
top
at
of
that.
it. I know.
They don't, that's,
Yeah, Evan's been keeping on top of it, and there's, like you said, and I remember we did, Geraldine put this together where she put contingencies in several different places, knowing that there could possibly be an extension of time. And like the GMP will have the construction contingency in it, but we have our own contingency too, which is good. Hopefully we won't need it.
What does it look like Downs will get there?
Like I said, I'm hoping by July 12th when we have our next meeting, we'll have something.
Yeah, they had a plan for, getting the word out to some people to get some proposals in, without having to do a whole formal big bid process, which would take longer, and we don't want it to take longer, because we would like to get them, start mobilizing and getting stuff done. I don't know, I guess I thought we were gonna start in August, but they think they can get it all done after Labor Day.
Yeah, I mean, with the Summer Slammer projects, all construction
Yep.
guys are,
Yep.
after Labor Days. Yeah, and I think Other than the MAU, our long lead items is probably our one door, the hollow metal door, all construction, about 14, 16 weeks.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think we're
So the
that we're worried.
structural stuff that has to go on the roof, that's not something that should be too long, because the paint is there, the masonry, the split face block is there, the mortar is there. It's all left from,
Yeah,
so
if
just a lot of equipment we
Yeah.
need to bring in.
anything other than a truss, I'm not worried about lead
Yeah.
times.
Okay. Okay, so good.
I have actually, I see the ESC controls there for 32,000. And am I missing, the commissioning?
That's up top.
Or is it? I didn't
Yeah,
see it.
it's like, it's in the
Okay.
consultants, yeah.
Then my second question is, we talked about the 50-ton makeup air unit of, contacting Eversource for an incentive. Did anybody contact them? Because I don't see that there either.
I did reach out to them and they said they're gonna send me a form and they never followed up. I mean, so let me,
So that's added money in the plus column.
Plus meaning
They
get
give the money to
back,
us.
Yeah, we don't have to spend money. The only time I think we spent money was on one project where we upgraded the HVAC, but then we got more than that back in the incentive.
Yeah, we went beyond
Yes,
code,
yeah,
and when you go beyond code,
yeah,
they give
we
you,
got more back.
you get that money back plus some.
Yep.
You have contact for Eversource, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks for remembering that, John. All right, anything else on this? Any other questions, or good with it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. And I will get this signed and scan copy back to whoever wants to give to you.
yeah, just give it to me and I'll.
Yeah, and then I'll file signed copy with the town clerk. And then, so we haven't had anything, like, I don't know, budget stuff coming from anybody saying, oh, now it's gonna cost more. No, except for you guys, because we know much. So we have this action target invoice, which we tabled, or we needed to get more information. Not the last meeting, because we didn't have it back in May. So Evan got photographs from Action Target. I put those in that file that he sent to everybody. So it's basically all the stuff, it's wrapped up. I'm sure it's sitting in a yard, it's not in a warehouse.
Right.
We assume it's in Utah, but it's in good shape. And we don't want it here right now, because they were ready to deliver it, but that means busting the hole in the side of the wall to get it inside, or piling it up in a Connex box or something. We don't want to do that. I think it should come when they're ready to install it. And Evan also sent out a memo saying that he felt that we should go ahead and pay it.
Which I wrote before last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I still say that, there is no terms and conditions in the action contract that the town signed
Right,
with Action Target.
right.
However, normal, construction process, this would be a, expected payment to make. When you have something that's manufactured.
Right, and I did check in with Marty, and he kind of saw both sides of, yeah, there's nothing in the contract, like Evan said, saying when the payments were due, and, he understood paying it, he also understood if we chose to help hold it back, but that was like a month and a half ago. Here we are, a month and a half later. I'm gonna make a motion, and we can discuss it further. So I'll make a motion that we approve the Action Target invoice number 136183-4, dated May 4th, 2023, for partial third payment, because Evan actually asked them to lower when they first sent the invoice out, so they did lower it, of $182,207. a second.
I'll second it for discussion.
Roy seconding it for discussion. So I think that they had kind of, as I said, Evan, to their contract or their proposal has no terms and conditions in it. There was a payment made to them in August of $205,095, which didn't go through us. It was actually discussed. I had to go back and look at old minutes and stuff. They wanted a down payment, so to speak, with their signed proposal. Geraldine talked to finance, they agreed, they sent that payment. The next one, the 205 payment we approved in February was sent. I think their payments were supposed to be that, 4 equal payments, and then got them to come down on this one.
So they said actually their usual terms and conditions, which you said he was surprised it wasn't in the contract, as it usually is.
Yeah.
Is 25% down payment to start manufacturing, 25% on completion of construction documents, and then 40% on delivery, 10% on completion, which is
That's
insane.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yes, yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
But I guess they do that all over the world and they get it.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We don't know if they do that.
Yeah.
You don't know.
But
They're
they're like-
telling you that.
true.
Right, so this changes that formula a bit, so now this 28% that if you guys decide to make this payment, we still have 20%, 28% of the total contract. It would not be due until completion of the project.
I'm just gonna say one thing. With us not having the unit, I am not comfortable of rolling payments and not even having a piece of equipment here. I thought the piece of equipment came in at, was it 300? 300,000.
Yeah.
You don't even have that here. I just wanna make that a point. I'd feel a lot different if the piece of equipment was at Mariano or Quick Pick or something like that. Cause then,
Someone,
Then you
we
got
have
the-
some control over
then you-
also.
exactly, we didn't even get that yet. And
We
now
don't have pictures of what's been made and what it looks like and which kind of shape it's in, to John's point.
We do of the action target equipment, but John's point is very relevant because we do not have any pictures of the MAU.
Right.
Right.
Right, so
I mean-
that is another thing that we could say is, we're willing to negotiate with you guys here because we understand that you manufacture the action target equipment,
Right,
but the MAU is worth $300,000, so we need at least $300,000 left on this contract because we
Right.
haven't.
Correct.
right. So,
And we're not getting the unit from the local distributor, it
No.
sounds like.
Correct.
They bought the unit in Utah. And the
Right.
Aon unit's coming and getting trucked from Utah to here. So we didn't even get it and even look at it to see, okay, from Utah to here, is everything okay? I'm
I
proceeding with
agree.
caution, man.
yeah,
If it was sitting at our local Aon distributor,
That would be
we
Well,
had
totally
some
different.
control
right,
over it,
right,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They
And it
know,
didn't get
they
off to
know
a good
us, we
start.
know them,
Right.
you know, it's
Yeah.
2,000 miles away, and I have the same exact concerns. I think we're way over to start with.
Yeah.
To be
And
honest with
my-
you, I think
Well,
Roy,
we're,
you do it more than
myself,
me.
I
We've paid
a
I
third,
would
a
be in
third,
this
a
position
third.
right now.
we've paid
Yeah.
half of the amount,
Correct.
and we have
That's
nothing.
more than,
And we got nothing here.
Right,
So,
I don't see it.
so you're okay with
I'm actually
kind
more
of contacting them
comfortable.
and asking them for?
Yeah, with the amount of flack
Something
that we
different
pick
or
up
maybe
from
nothing.
Action Target.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over.
Okay, so how about if I withdraw my motion? And we'll take it up at our next meeting and you can, in your memo, you do talk about that's a typical what they do, but that's not typical of what you often see with any type of vendor.
Right.
I've
And-
never seen that in the 30 years I've been doing this.
Well, right, are they doing it differently because, are they saying they do it differently because of what they're making? It's not as if
There's
they're
a
gonna be
whole
showing
difference
up
when I see
soon, yeah.
Pictures of Action Target stuff that they made themselves, or
It is different,
whatever,
yes, yeah, I agree.
versus, something that, there's some real money.
Yep,
Outside vendors, et
Yeah,
cetera.
exactly. Their terms and conditions for their equipment is different than providing outside equipment.
Exactly.
Third party.
And my comfort level
And,
continues to go
you
down.
know, they definitely backed off as soon as I mentioned that there's no terms and conditions in the contract. So coming back and saying again, there's no terms and conditions, we're trying to work with you.
Right. We've
But,
already paid, what, 410,000?
yep.
Yep.
And I'll,
Kind of from the school,
I
when
get
the job is
regular
complete,
emails.
we'll pay the bill.
I get regular emails from their finance department or whatever they're,
oh, she's a hound, yeah.
oh my God, she's like, when are you gonna send us money? Like, we haven't even. She's like, overnight it to me tomorrow. But then she thanks me when I reply, so I will tell her that. I don't know, that's the accounting department, they're like either in another building or in another state or whatever. And they don't know what the other guys are doing, they were hounding us for money when last invoice that said something like plans, that's what it said, for $205,000, plans.
So Marty said, when we talked to Marty left it up to us, more or less, right?
Yes,
It's all the more that,
yeah,
no terms and conditions in there.
right,
Marty gives
That's
us
their
some
fault.
support.
right,
And,
There's no
and,
terms
and we're beyond
conditions. Why?
industry standards.
and they're not gonna,
Just do it at the
they're
end of the
also not,
job.
what are they gonna do?
You do me a house,
Yeah, right.
and even though I have a house or a lot picked out, I'm gonna give you money for it? No.
All right, so anything else that we need to do with the training range? Oh, and where's Durkin? Notices. He would have texted or something. Last time he was supposed to be on and then he got stuck with something at work. And they'll watch it tomorrow and they'll holler at us.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, so, so that's it for the training range for now. And then the HVAC project is in holding pattern. So again, if you guys, if Dave Horvath can't climb on the roof for a couple of weeks, but you wanna go climb on the roof with Bob Germanero, you're welcome to do it. We have
I wanna
no,
talk about it a little bit, again, an update on it, because they didn't get the grant, right?
back in
Right,
whatever
so-
it was.
So the last I knew that the meeting I attended was they wanted to do the first unit that did the science classroom. That was the big push, replace that unit.
And that's getting done.
And underneath,
That's not anything that we're,
right, they're gonna do it themselves.
Yes.
So what are we responsible for?
so we were going to be responsible, we were assigned by the Board of Selectmen the next section, which was basically what the grant was for.
For air
So,
conditioning.
what air conditioning in the middle of the building, I think it is. And then the grant, they didn't get the grant. So in August, there's supposed to be another opportunity to apply for, because the grant money, what you got and what whoever else got was just like a little, maybe a third of what was available. So there's another 2/3 that has to go out, and I think the Office of School Construction is supposed to send out announcements saying it's time to put your grant in. So I don't know if they will apply the same way. That might be something to look into. Or if they will apply for a larger amount to cover everything. I don't really know.
We're
So
dead.
are
Because
they
we
gonna
weren't
give us
part-
a set of plans?
No, we weren't part of the grant writing, somebody else. took care
No,
of
but
that,
but they have a design for
Yes.
phase 2 and 3.
I believe they do, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I haven't got anything more.
So is
Then
this
what
basically
Dr.
water over the dam here, or is this?
It might be. I mean, if we don't get, if they apply for the grant again and they don't get anything, then the town's gonna have to start, or they're gonna have to look for other grants, but the town may
And
have to.
what is our role?
It's not really well defined. So when it was assigned to us by the Board of Selectmen, so I need to check on that then.
I guess I have a couple questions. If it's 500,000 or it's $1.5 million. Let's just say it's 500,000. Do they have a construction manager involved?
No.
Do they have a commissioning agent involved?
They're talking about getting a commissioning agent. They have to, because I think they would probably from the grant required to. I was pushing to have an owner's rep. They were kind of like, that's really not part of the budget. We need to make it part of the budget, so.
Well, we went through that problem once before.
I don't know if they will use, the setup that they've got already in, that the town already has in place with Colliers, or whether they'll go do something different. And
So I'm gonna just throw one thing out there. I am not comfortable of voting on anything to spend money without any oversight, and Bob Giminero can't do it. There are all the schools tomorrow.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
So
not,
I don't know how we relay that to Dr. Carver or
Yes.
whoever's, you know,
Right.
running it, but you
my
know,
question would be.
that's a lot to ask for us
Right,
with right off the bat on spending, even if it's 500,000
right.
with no oversight.
And
'Cause
my,
that's kind of what you're doing, right?
right, and my.
Unless somebody tells us different, that's.
So the state released 56 million of the 150 million, so like I said, it's about a third. And she wrote this whole thing and sent to us back in mid-May, so a month ago. But what I need to find out is, do we continue to be assigned this, which was assigned by the Board of Selectmen, or does it get changed because in a way, we're starting from square one, having who's gonna put the grant in, who's gonna be a part of that, who's gonna. I don't know any of that. We don't know any of that.
I mean, right now, originally, what I would look at it, what we were originally assigned, is dead. It's not there, there's no money, there's no funding.
Right,
Now, if
Because,
they're
like
gonna
I
do, if
said-
they're gonna go through another rebidding, rephasing process,
and it
we
could,
should be from ground zero, not running
But
a mile, 4 reps around the track and coming into the
But
third.
that's
round.
my point, John, if they're reapplying, let them reapply with an owner's rep and a commissioning agent to oversee the spending of the money. Because it's not gonna be any one of us, I mean, yeah, maybe we go on the roof a couple of times,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
we
not our
gotta-
full-time job.
No, we got people, professionals
yeah,
on there.
no, and I talked about this, we talked about it in meetings, but I also talked about it at one of those meetings that you and I sat at, and they were looking at plans.
You know, if they wanna go replace the air handler, what they talked about at the meeting that I attended, it was the air handler for the science classrooms.
Right.
Well, if the Board of Ed wants to do that, that's fine, that's their thing. Now it sounds like that's the third, that's phase one, and the other two phases they want us to take care of. That's great, but if you're gonna do that, then, and it's gonna be over our supervision, then you gotta assign an owner's rep and a commissioning agent.
Yeah,
And make sure you're getting what you're paying for.
because I think, if they haven't already started, they probably haven't started the work yet, but they're gonna, that's it. What they're putting on the roof. That's getting done, that's, the money for that was approved, and they're moving ahead with that. Putting that ERU,
Yeah,
that's getting done.
yeah, that's for some, I realize.
But
I
as
believe
far
it's
as
for
the
science
grants,
class.
I agree that we need to get reassigned, and who knows, like I said, are they applying for the same amount, or are they applying for more? Covering as much as they
Changing,
can,
probably,
we don't know.
Putting them both together,
That would make sense.
Yep.
right? No, I don't know.
So I will have to get some clarification on a lot of that stuff.
It sounds like money should dry up quick, too,
Well,
you know.
I mean, if you looked at Dr. Carver had sent out, there was like an article in the paper that
That's-
said,
I-
and they're like Ridgefield got like $3,000 for this,
Yeah.
and, he got 3 million, and so it's like, I know,
They were really odd.
I know, it's like,
But
is that
if
what
there
they
was-
asked for?
Well, that,
There was a scorecard involved.
yeah,
Yeah,
Let's just leave it at that.
yeah.
There was a scorecard involved.
Well-
And that's how,
That's why I
that's how
don't
you
even
did
know
better if
that's-
if you were hitting scorecard on things they wanted to see addressed.
right, and
Which is
They
probably a
weren't-
commissioning agent and
Yes.
project man.
Well, no, it's even deeper than that, it's air quality, changes of air, CO2 control. There was a lot of things to it. They weren't giving grants, from what I understand, for people that had old equipment and were just.
Right, so-
didn't
yes, but, so
manage properly to
Dr.
replace
Carver,
it and.
in the process of talking to Office of School Construction about Johnson and Rockwell, they also got feedback on their grant, and the memo that she sent out. Basically, Bethel was not on the highest priority in terms of need. There were two simple things that we need to switch when we are able to resubmit. And some of it's just paperwork stuff. So it's not, I don't think it goes as deep as the design isn't showing need. But, Ridgefield needed $3,000 more than we needed, whatever their amount was, so we'll have to see, but I will check on some of those things and see what we can find out for the next meeting.
I don't know, after I read her, or I didn't get the feeling that movement that high up on the list even.
And the next one,
Yeah, I don't know, that was just the impression I,
Huh. well, then
and there
maybe
was a
they
couple
need,
other articles in the
maybe
paper
they
that I've been
need-
following that said it.
yeah, maybe they need an owner's rep to help build a grant out.
So the state is developing new standards
For
For
air
schools.
quality,
for schools.
okay,
And it's gonna get released very soon. I know somebody that's on the board.
okay.
Um,
On the
That's where
state
this
school
is
board?
geared to. Yeah,
Well, that kind of probably came out of everybody paying attention to what they needed during COVID, and then it's all the time.
Exactly.
So if that comes out, is that what the standards are gonna look for now? Is everybody gonna have to do redesign all their proposals and things? Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, like I said, I'll see what I can find out. Our next meeting is supposed to be July 12th. Anybody know that they're gonna be away? I will be here.
I'll be around.
Both Davids will be here because David Horvath will be limping. He'll probably be zooming.
What did he do?
But Horvath
Yeah,
he tore his
He's getting-
meniscus.
is getting a knee surgery.
you can't do young people things anymore.
What is it?
When you go, I tried to hit it 300 yards. It only went 280. What can I say?
What did you say when he said it's tough getting old? We're not getting old.
We're not getting old or well seasoned.
We're well seasoned. I like that.
Exactly.
Fine wine.
Yeah. So, and then
Wine
just a
turned
quick
vinegar.
update, the fellow that was appointed, Don Coat, who was appointed to work with us,
Yeah.
never got sworn in, finally got some word back from the first selectman that he told him he can't do it because some things have come up that he has to deal with. So that's going back to the Republican Town Committee to get somebody to appoint. So it's gonna be really important that y'all let me know when you can and when you can't, and stick to it, because we're minus one person. And then Dr.
Okey-dokey.
Romero, but I know you always can't know until the last minute, which is,
Yeah, so write it down.
I know, I got it.
Have Menti tattoo it on his arm.
Well, that I know, because, you said last time.
Maybe he wants to tattoo it on his thigh. He can tattoo it any place he wants, but I don't wanna see it.
Wait,
I just wanna explain to him that
he told
I
us,
can't
Hold
let
on.
you know probably until the day of.
because
That's
you
never
told
gonna
us last
change.
time that you were gonna be on vacation. That I had written down, and then I forgot, which is why Roy texted, and I was like, no, here, John says he's gonna be on vacation. But then other people who were supposed to be here didn't come, so.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can plan
The best I
ahead
could
and
do
know
is
and
tell
let
you
me
the day
know.
of.
So I don't drag people out for a meeting, but we also need to meet so we can keep making things moving forward if we have to make, like, we have to approve a GMP soon and things like that. All righty,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
everybody seconds. All in
man.
favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Kathy's daughter.
You're welcome.
Thank you, yeah, she did excellent.
Did good job.
Good teacher.
Did your mama proud.